Hello and welcome to the Direct Selling Association of South Africa Virtual Convention 2021. My name is Felicity Rican and I'll be your MC for the day. Direct selling has a rich and unique heritage that not many people know about. In fact, it's an industry that began to emerge with the development of civilizations. Did you know that more than 90% of all startups fail within the first 2 years of opening their doors? Direct selling businesses, on the other hand, are backed by research, advertising, and promotional programs, giving entrepreneurs greater support and a stronger foundation. The ability to supplement your income with a world-renowned brand has helped people take control of their futures for over 40 years in our country and will continue to do so for years to come. Today's theme is Tomorrow is Now. The Direct Selling Association of South Africa, or DSA, is celebrating its 49th year and would like to celebrate almost half a century of supporting companies who provide opportunities for people to change their lives positively. The DSA's vision is to be leading ambassadors of the direct selling industry and proactively champion the interests of member companies who passionately create an enabling environment in which lives are positively changed in our country. It is a great honor, of course, to welcome today's special guests. One of them, our guest speaker, Femi Adebanje, World Federation of Direct Selling Associations, or WFDSA, Executive Director Tamuna Gabalaya, and WFDSA Chairperson Roger Barnett. You'll also hear from all the directors of the DSA of South Africa. But today is not just about speeches. Today is about gifts as well. That's correct. There's, of course, wonderful hampers that are available to be won by you, and there will be a draw coming up. I want to say thank you very much to our sponsors for the wonderful selection of products. And you need to stay tuned to see if you are a winner of some of these fantastic products. Next up, I'd like to introduce the Vice Chairman and Africa Expansion Director of the DSA, Brandon Masondo.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Felicity. Sanbonan Dumelang. What is the purpose of the DSA? Since 1971, the Direct Selling Association of South Africa is a self-regulating association of direct selling companies that promotes and protects the interests of its member companies, direct sellers, and consumers. We are the leading ambassadors of the direct selling industry and proactively champion the interests of our member companies who passionately create an enabling environment in which lives are positively transformed in our respective countries. We protect the public from exploitative behavior of Ponzi and pyramid schemes through our various awareness campaigns and engage various stakeholders, including government, to lobby for an environment conducive for the industry to grow and flourish in our country and beyond. The DSA of South Africa has embarked on an initiative to have DSAs established in countries across our continent of Africa. To this end, the DSA of South Africa has been working to establish a DSA in Nigeria, providing support in terms of guidance, know-how, and mentoring. Let's hear from one of our founder members of the DSA of Nigeria, Mr. Ikuchukwu Daniel.
Hello, DSA South Africa. My name is Daniel Ikechukwu, one of the founding members of DSA Nigeria. I want to say a big congratulations to DSA South Africa on your ongoing national convention. And I also want to thank you for the strong support and assistance that you are giving DSA Nigeria through your secretariat, through your man, Imtiaz Ibrahim, who has continued to promote interactions and alignment of executives of direct selling companies in Nigeria towards ensuring that we set up a strong DSA in Nigeria to foster understanding and support of direct selling in Nigeria. Through his support, DSA Nigeria now have our own code of ethics, which will serve as the highest standard of responsible and ethical conduct of all direct selling activities in Nigeria. We're happy about this support. We want to thank Intias, we want to thank DSA South Africa, and we anticipate many more supports going forward. We want to say, let's all keep making a difference, not just in our member companies, but in the lives of all our independent distributors. Cheers to DSA South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel, for your warm sentiments about the DSA of South Africa's support of the DSA of Nigeria. In essence, the DSA of South Africa is preparing the groundwork for the direct selling business opportunity to become accessible throughout our beautiful continent of Africa so that direct selling in Africa can take its rightful place in the world of direct selling. Globally, this industry generates more than 3 trillion rand in annual sales. Worldwide, we provide a business opportunity to about 125 million entrepreneurs who are represented by over 60 DSAs. DSAs around the world, including the DSA of South Africa, are affiliated to the World Federation of Direct Selling Association, the WFDSA. The WFDSA's mission is to build understanding and support for direct selling worldwide. The key objectives of the WFDSA is to pursue the highest level of ethical conduct in the global marketplace, to foster advocacy by partnering with government, consumer, and academic leaders around the world, to strengthen management of national direct selling associations and promote integration and alignment of direct selling companies through the efforts of our member companies in complying with our code of ethics. The DSA of South Africa is so proud of having been awarded the WFDSA's most prestigious Platinum Award for the 3rd consecutive year. To tell us more about the WFDSA, let us hear from its Executive Director, Tamuna Gabilaya.
Good morning. It's a great pleasure to be with you here today as you come together as an industry to review your initiatives, to define your priorities, and to see how we can move our industry forward. I am joining you from Washington, D.C. It's early in the morning, 8 o'clock, and I wish so much that I was with you in person. But unfortunately, due to the current pandemic, we can't. I look for the day when I can do that. Let me start by congratulating South African DSA and all of you member companies for achieving WFDSA's highest platinum level membership status for 3rd year in a row. Congratulations. I also want to say that we at WFDSA are looking forward working with you, DSA of South Africa, as you lead the way in establishing new direct selling associations in other African markets, because Africa has such an untapped potential, and I will later on talk about the statistics. So here you gathered today with the theme for your conference, Tomorrow is Now. And many of you probably attended WFDSA first ever virtual World Congress with the same theme, Tomorrow is Now, which was held on October 6 and 7. We see that when the pandemic hit in 2020, everything has changed, and we really live in unprecedented times because millions of people lost their lives. We saw that everything changed, how we communicate, how we look at things, right? But what have we seen when it comes to our industry? Well, we saw that after initial shock that everyone had, our industry actually has experienced the wave of new ideas, adaptability, creativity, even more than ever before. Every June, we release our global direct selling statistics. And what we have seen that we have seen our industry actually has grown in almost every region. The global retail sales of the industry constituted $179.3 billion. And if we look at the number of direct sellers, we see that independent representatives constituted 125.4 million people. What does it tell us? Well, it shows the resilience of the industry. I also want to give you an idea about the regional sales, so you can see where Africa stands and all the potential that African continent has for the direct selling industry. Asia Pacific has traditionally remained our largest direct selling region with 43%, followed by the Americas, which represent 36%, and followed by Europe, 20%. If we look at Africa and Middle East, we will see that the growth of the industry, it's 1.9% and growth was 4%. But if we look at the number of salespeople, we see that it grew by almost 8%. What was the largest category? The largest category was wellness, because when we look at the pandemic and what was happening, people really started reevaluating how they look at health. Wellness followed by cosmetics and personal care. During the current pandemic, we saw massive community lockdowns and many people lost their jobs. However, if we look at our industry, we saw that our industry actually added an additional 5 million people. 74% of those people are women. And when I joined the industry, I saw that it was many years ago that women who joined the industry was over 85%, and now we see the change because men are joining the industry as well, 74% versus 26% of men, because we provide this flexible opportunity regardless of your age, of your education level, or of your personal background. What else is happening? Well, first of all, as I hope many of you saw the CEO panel, which was moderated by WFDSA Chairman Roger Burnett. And the theme of that panel was reimagine, reinvent, and redefine our direct selling industry, right? So we need to reimagine what it is in today's digital world to grow our business, because our industry has a competitive advantage doing things in person. And by using the technology and all the tools available, we can continue growing our business and reach to new customers. We need to reinvent the notion who direct seller is and how we reward direct seller. And of course, we need to really redefine our conversation about direct selling, because our industry does so much in almost every country where we do business. In World Federation, we do socioeconomic impact studies to show the social and economic contributions of our industry. Nowadays, we have done over 35 such studies, and I would welcome you all to visit our website where you can see the results of those studies. Now, I wanted to share with you some very interesting statistics. It was done in 2020 by Salinger. The survey shows that more than 2/3 of the consumers shop online every week, and this represents about 28% pre-COVID increase globally. Well, 39% said that they will combine online and in-store shopping even after the pandemic. 28% will shop mostly online. 24% will shop in-store. 10% we're not sure. However, 95% of the shoppers miss shopping in stores. They miss that feel and touch, right? 71% want to know product availability before purchasing anything. 51% said that free products and buyer perks such as secret sales, free shopping, promo codes are the best way for brands to show their care. So at direct selling, if we look at our industry, we do this all. And also we need to figure out how to tap into the new generation, because I, for example, have 2 children myself. My son is 15 years old and my daughter is 12. It's a very, very different generation. And even between my son and my daughter, there is a difference, the way they shop, the way they look at things. For example, when we all know that when the internet was introduced, we were and all of the new social media channels, we were glad to go and shop online. However, for this new generation, what we see that they were digital natives, right? So they were digital natives. However, they love that feel and touch. My daughter always tells me, Mom, she says, please take me to store because I love to actually see what's going on. They are also very socially conscious. So with all of that, I see that our industry's future is very bright. And I want to congratulate you one more time organizing this very important event. Last time I was in South Africa was a long time ago, and I hope that next year, or at least in the very near future, I will be able to come and visit you in person. Thank you very much, and I wish you a successful event.
Thank you, Tamuna. Your role is extremely important in providing direction for DSAs around the world. Which brings me to our next speaker. It is indeed a privilege to introduce the chairman of WFDSA, Roger Barnett.
I would like to thank each and every one of you who are watching for helping us make history. In 2020, our world was turned upside down by the COVID pandemic. Millions lost their lives, and the health and livelihood of hundreds of millions of others were deeply impacted. If ever there was a disruption, it was this pandemic. It changed our perspective on health. It changed how we work, how we live, how we interact with another, and how we shop. The pandemic also brought a sharpened focus on disparities in the quality of life that are based on income, on gender, and on race. And while it's challenging to say that there is anything good that came from a global pandemic, there was a renewed sense of how we are all interconnected, sometimes for worse, and also for better. Many of us reevaluated our personal relationships to focus more on what really matters to each of us. We saw many great acts of altruism, and the pandemic also accelerated the future, particularly with advances in technology and the digital economy. And that is why we are all gathered together for the next 2 days to talk about the future of where the world is going, the future of where our industry is going, and most importantly, how important the direct selling industry can be to redefine the future livelihoods for hundreds of millions of people. You know, livelihood is a very interesting term. It has come to be associated with earning an income, but its real definition is the means of securing the basic necessities of life. And that is where our industry can lead, to show the world there is a proven, scalable way for all humans to secure the basic necessities of life. And that includes health, income, a sense of purpose, hope and optimism, knowledge, personal development. These are all the elements that our direct selling industry provides to people. And we provide it to anyone and everyone who chooses to join us. Now is the time where we can bring the future of livelihood to everyone. Now is the time we can bring a more powerful and inclusive business model to the forefront of the world's attention. Now is our time to broaden our view of our stakeholders to care not just for our customers, our distributors, and employees, but to also care for our communities and our planet. This is our moment to lead, to rise, to shine, and this past year has highlighted the compelling need for what our industry offers. During a year in which unemployment increased in every major country in the world, our industry, the direct selling industry, added 5 million people. While women have been disproportionately impacted by the pandemic-related job losses, this is not new. Women have been steadily declining in the workforce for decades in the largest economy in the world. But our industry is different. The majority of our 125 million representatives are women, and our growth has mostly come from women. Why? Because we have redefined work to be part-time and flexible. And that is what both women and men increasingly want. A few other statistics to share. Outside of China, we grew our sales and distributor count in every single region of the world. And within the global direct selling industry, health and wellness continues to be the largest product category, followed by beauty and then household. And together, these represent over $1 trillion of addressable market. $1 trillion. In sum, the direct selling industry, we are growing and resilient. We represent the future of work and the future of livelihood and the future of corporate impact to society. So what does this all mean for you? It simply means that there is a lot of opportunity for everyone who is part of the direct selling industry. But we must never rest on our past. We must always embrace the future. Last year, we had the highest level of sales and the most number of people in the 100+ year history of the direct selling industry. And that is precisely why now is the right time to reimagine, reinvent, and redefine what our industry is. That is how we will ensure that we will continuously set new sales and impact milestones and grow for decades to come.
Thank you very much, Roger Barnett, and of course your important and vital role in making tomorrow now, in taking the focus of direct selling around the world into the future at a rapid pace. It now is, of course, a great pleasure for me to introduce the chairman of the DSA, Rajesh Parshottam. Since receiving his diploma in business management, DSA chairperson Mr. Rajesh Parshottam has been involved in business and started in the retail environment before moving to Amway. His belief in the vision of the company and the alignment of his personal values with that of the company has seen him develop strategic partnerships, both internally and externally, which has been crucial to the business. Raj has a firm belief in doing what's right and not what works, and it is with this philosophy that he guides and leads the team at Amway. Rajesh has been a director of the DSA for over 8 years.
Thank you, Felicity. Welcome to all our viewers. I'd also like to take a moment to extend a very special welcome to all those who have recently joined our industry, and especially if this is your first virtual convention. This is an important event in the calendar of the DSA. This provides us with an opportunity to pause so that we can recognize and celebrate the many successes over the past 12 months, and equally important, draw inspiration and re-energize as we look forward to the next 12 months. As Brendan has already shared with all of us the purpose of the DSA, and let's remind ourselves that the DSA here in South Africa is a member of the WFDSA. It's important that we all understand that the vision of the DSA is to be leading ambassadors of the entire direct selling industry and proactively champion the interests of our member companies who passionately create an enabling environment in which lives are positively changed in our country. As we look ahead at the WFDSA and the industry at large globally, we recognize the fact that we had just over 125 million direct sellers globally, and it is through their collective effort that we get to celebrate today a global industry that's almost $180 billion US. This is something we should recognize and applaud. I just want to take a moment and maybe just remind everyone of our strategic pillars of the DSA. There are 5 key areas where we focus all our energy and effort to ensure that this becomes an industry to reckon with in our local landscape. The first one is all specific and dedicated to government affairs. The second pillar, equally important to the first one, is public relations. The third pillar is membership, followed by education initiatives, and the last one is Africa expansion. You're going to be getting to hear from all the directors who are responsible for these various pillars, who will be providing you with important information and updates with regards to the adoption and activation, most importantly, the success achieved within each of these pillars. As we unpack the DSA strategic goals, the first thing that was an important focus for all of us at the board of the DSA was really to elevate this industry. This industry has been ignored for far too long, and all our efforts is really to make sure that we position this industry as a mainstream economy, as a mainstream contributor to the economy here locally, so that it is an industry to be reckoned with. The first strategic priority was to increase the visibility of the industry and the DSA, and this was done through two ways. The first one was through the work that we're doing through government affairs, and the second one was through social media and PR. We want to make sure that we can clearly distinguish businesses that are legal and legitimate from those that are Ponzi and pyramid schemes. And the last two that you're seeing up on your screen are really about empowerment. And here we're looking to make sure that we empower the public as well as the media with tools to recognize legitimate and sustainable direct selling businesses. And secondly, equally important is to forge partnerships with the relevant arms of government, which is an important stakeholder for this industry, so that we can achieve common goals. We all know that our government is grappling with many national issues, and we believe we can be one of those solutions to assist government in achieving their goals, but at the same time making sure we create an enabling environment for our member companies, and most importantly, for all of you, our direct sellers. So how does all of this translate into our numbers? Well, firstly, we have 24 member companies in our reporting year of 2020. And I must point out and provide some additional context here that the numbers I'm about to share are numbers that have been shared by these 24 member companies. There may be companies who are operating within our industry space but are not members of the DSA, and therefore their numbers are not included in what I'm about to share. It's really exciting to see that we have close on to 900,000 direct sellers in terms of our local business. We can be proud of the fact that this industry boasts a size of 7.7 billion rands. And I'm proud to stand here today and share with all of you that this industry has continued to maintain its size, despite the fact that many industries have really struggled through the pandemic. Once again, it just illustrates and reinforces the fact that this is an industry that has always, irrespective of the economic situation, has maintained its resilience. A huge congratulations to all of you, member companies and direct sellers alike. We can exploit and really take advantage of the market potential that exists in the next 12, 18, 36, 60 months that lie ahead. So congratulations once again. Let's now unpack a little bit of our demographics. And so what you're seeing up on the screen is the demographics of our direct sellers. We often hear about inequalities in the marketplace. This is one of the issues of our national government and many governments around the world. And yet the direct selling industry, in a very organic way, continues to demonstrate the impact on society and how we go about dealing with those inequalities by empowering people with an opportunity that allows them to achieve their dreams, their goals, their aspirations for themselves and their families. This is an exciting one that I've just called up on the screen. Our industry is getting younger, folks. At last year's convention, the number was 55% of our entire industry was below the age of 44. Have a look at what has happened in such a short space of time. Today, I stand here and report to you that 64% of our industry are now below 44. Folks, we have a very, very young industry. And this makes absolute sense. The market has been moving closer and closer to us. We speak about the gig economy. We speak about people looking for flexibility. We're speaking about the younger generation wanting to own their time and make decisions and choices that really helps them achieve their goals, whether it be short, medium, or long term. This is something we should be proud of, but we have much work and focus that needs to be taken up by all of us as a collective to ensure that we consistently relevant and attractive, and most importantly, deliver against their expectations. Lastly, extremely important to us as an industry, one thinks about women empowerment. This industry, as you can see up on your screen, has continued consistently to ensure that we provide all with an opportunity to realize their true potential. And in this case, as you can see, the females have really dominated this industry, not just here, but across the world, and have really taken on this income opportunity as an opportunity for them to achieve their financial freedom, but also extending to beyond just financial and economic freedom for themselves and their families. And once again, congratulations to all of you for the work that you continue to do, but most importantly for these results, which are not just the results of the DSA, but the results for all of us as a collective, and something that we should be proud of. And so in keeping with the theme of the WFDSA of Tomorrow is Now, as a local team, we've identified 3 very key actions to guide all the work that we need to undertake. The first one is reimage, followed by reinvent and redefine. As we talk about reimage, we must take ethics beyond compliance. Additionally, identify a narrative that truly communicates direct selling as the industry of the future, so that areas that were questioned in the past will no longer be questioned in the future. We must also understand that the value which direct selling contributes to society goes way beyond just financial benefits. People have embraced this idea of working from anywhere. This idea of flexibility is going to last for a long time. We know that almost everyone is looking for a better solution, a better way, and yet they've consistently defaulted to the old. However, this is changing. Consumers are now far more hungrier for a different opportunity, a different solution. And it's important for us to also recognize that consumers are far more knowledgeable than ever before. And for us as an industry, we need to make sure that we're operating in a responsible, ethical, and integrous way as we bring them and invite them into our industry and support them to grow their business so that they achieve their dreams, their goals, and their aspirations. Direct sellers are powerful forces of change globally. And lastly, as more and more younger people join our industry, personalization and automating our direct seller training is critically important as they continue to look for flexibility. And as we think about our last action of redefine, and importantly of social commerce, direct selling has been the best social networking offline. However, going forward, we need to think about how do direct sellers build communities in person or offline, as well as online seamlessly, and helping them with e-commerce online shopping, so that as direct sellers, they can focus on providing best products and services to their customers and nurture those relationships. Direct selling is in the midst of disrupting commerce. We have what every brand is looking for, and it's critical that we change how we think. It's important that we strive to be a big fish in a big pond, so that we understand, manage, and overcome cross-industry competition from e-commerce. Lastly, we need to change the way we manifest, build trust relationships between our companies and their direct sellers and their customers, and ultimately between our industry and society. I'd like to now move on and just extend a hearty thank you to the board of directors as you're seeing up on your screen. These are individuals who work tirelessly day in and day out and really bring their passion to life to make sure that this is an industry we all can be proud of. So on behalf of myself, I'd like to thank all the directors for their ongoing contribution to making this industry a great industry.
Thank you very much, Chairman Rajesh. My mind is completely blown. Over 870,000 small businesses. This is the answer to unemployment in our country. Of course, Rajesh also mentioned one of the pillars of the DSA is government affairs. And to talk a little bit around that is Tilo Naidu, Government Affairs and Legal Director of the DSA.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Felicity. And indeed, government affairs is one of the important pillars of the DSA. Good afternoon, and thank you for attending the DSA's virtual convention. From a government affairs perspective, this year, we stayed the course, even though at times it proved somewhat difficult to secure relevant meetings due to the impact of COVID-19 and the focus of government in particular on the pandemic. We nevertheless focused on driving our key strategic engagements within both government and the private sector. The government affairs agenda remained a key deliverable as part of the overall DSA strategy for this year. And off the bat, I need to thank the tireless efforts of the board as well as the government affairs strategic support team who underpinned the work of this workstream. Each meeting undertaken this year edged the DSA forward in shaping stakeholder understanding and appreciation of the direct selling sector and its momentous value to the local economy. Notwithstanding the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, through the government affairs lens, we saw real opportunity in local economic adversity. Given our state president's call for the private sector to support the efforts of the country's economic recovery plan, this became a driving force for us in our deliberations with government this year. We utilized our current socio-economic crisis as a country as a focal point in driving a narrative which sought to shine the spotlight on our distributors, members, and customers' spirit of entrepreneurship and their desire to provide a necessary income to their families, sometimes this being the only source of income for families. We personalize our plight by sharing real examples of distributors who pride themselves in the area of direct selling. As you can appreciate, in Q1 this year, Stats SA released figures which show that our GDP had declined by 7% in 2020, in part due to the COVID-19 impact. Recently, in early Q3 2021, Stats SA had revealed that our expanded definition of the unemployment rate had eclipsed a 10-year high, which is now sitting at 44.4%. We have a national crisis on our hands, and as the DSA, we feel strongly that we can effectively contribute to the solution. With your indulgence, let me spend a little time on what we have done better this year. Our collaborative nature and integrated internal support structure afforded us the opportunity to simplify, clarify, and effectively drive our key messages with our core stakeholders in both the public and the private sector. We prioritize the potential, current value, and ease of entering and participating in the direct selling industry. By telling our story, we have positioned our distributors and the direct selling industry positively. And the intent is to capitalize on the gains of such stakeholder engagements well into the future. In all our engagements this year, there is one point which has stood out, be it with the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee for Small Business Development or the Small Business Institute, is the fact that our story has been both welcomed and acknowledged as significant to the lifeblood of the local economy. Another area where we improved was to align the key messaging from a PR and communication perspective. So essentially, what this meant is that whatever we discussed with key government ministers and officials, we were able to repeat in our communications and PR efforts in the media. It is so important that the narrative remains clear, concise, and consistent, irrespective of whom we are engaging. And to this end, I can attest to the fact that we did this well. Once again, thank you to the efforts of the support team who ensured that we remain true and consistent in such instances. In both Q1 and Q2, we focused our attention on key engagements with Invest SA, an agency of the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, and Productivity SA, a public entity of the Department of Employment and Labour. This we did based on the state president's rallying call for the private sector to support government's efforts in the implementation of the local economic recovery plan. These meetings went well, and here again, our intention is to pursue additional meetings over the next few months in this regard, in order to concretize real opportunities. Sometimes the progress is slow, but in order to be successful in positioning our industry effectively, requires a tenacious and sometimes fighting spirit. In Q2, becoming a member of the Small Business Institute is another highlight for us. And our intention is to leverage our membership in order to better position the DSA on key issues impacting the small business sector. The stats that we heard earlier today from our DSA chairman makes for a compelling, necessary, and relevant sector, especially in light of our local socio-economic challenges. Each direct seller and/or distributor, given their entrepreneurial spirit, is considered to be a small business owner. This is why we continue to knock at the door of the Small Business Development Ministry in this regard. It therefore stands to reason that in order to advance our plight and potential, we need to insist on having a seat at the policy and regulatory table of government, especially the Small Business Development Ministry. Another win for us is the work we continue to do on the complementary medicines regulations via SAHPRA, our health regulator, the National Department of Health, and the South African Pharmaceutical Council. In early Q3, following the combined work the DSA had done on the alternative standards for manufacturing, wholesaling, and distribution, we received positive feedback from SAHPRA on the opportunity to reference other standards other than the pharmaceutical standards for the manufacturing of such products as part of the licensing application process for complementary medicines. This is an important advancement for us, as most of our products are categorized as food supplements and not medicines. To this end, we ran a complementary medicines workshop for our members 4 months ago in order to support you, our valued members, who import these products into the country or have these products manufactured locally. We continue to engage via the industry task group on complementary medicines regulatory requirements, commonly referred to as the ITG. Furthermore, we presented to the Pricing Review Committee, a committee which reports to the Ministry of Health, on single exit pricing and our business model, in which we motivated for an exemption on the single exit price and the protection of our business model for Schedule 0 products. We need to ensure that direct selling is not excluded from such opportunities. Our distributors depend on our ability to effectively bat for them on our quality products at the regulatory authority level. Getting to this point, therefore, has taken us well over a year, but rewards in the end will be worthwhile, as our intention is to co-create together with government a pathway to realize mutual value for the direct selling industry. We welcome you to come along with us on this journey of co-creation, as after all, we do this for you, our members, and the industry at large. To the directors and support team who supported the work of the Government Affairs workstream this year, I want to thank you for your unwavering commitment and resolve. As we set out at the beginning of the year, the Government Affairs strategy is simple. Number one, to effectively position the DSA with key stakeholders. Number two, to drive our value proposition and potential in such engagements. And then number three, to leverage these engagements in order to further progress the value of the direct selling industry locally. I can assure you that we are now in a position to focus on number three, which is to leverage these engagements. In closing, I would like to thank you for your ongoing support of the work that we do within the workstream, and look forward to your ongoing commitment in the next year and beyond. On behalf of the Government Affairs workstream, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Tilo Naidu. And of course, we congratulate you on the progress in this area. Don't forget, there is a wonderful hamper, maybe even hampers, that are available up for draw. And thank you very much to our sponsors for the selection of amazing products. If you want to see if you're one of the winners, please stay tuned. It is such a privilege to introduce our next guest speaker, Femi Adebanje. Femi Adebanje is an author and sought-after customer service speaker and organizational excellence speaker with a passion for helping organizations transform their service excellence levels, build truly customer-centric cultures, create high-performance business cultures, and evolve into brands of distinction. As a dynamic and insightful keynote speaker, he has had the privilege of working with clients such as Mercedes-Benz, Pfizer, 3M, John Deere, Hewlett-Packard, International Center for Parliamentary Studies, Vodacom, Office of the Presidency, Barclays Africa, Tiger Brands, Unilever, FNB, SARS, and many more. With over 15 years' experience in building successful businesses, both within the corporate space and as an entrepreneur, leading diverse teams and working with businesses to unlock their performance potential, Femi now shares his insights with corporates within South Africa and internationally on how to design and develop high-performance, customer-focused cultures, motivate their employees to deliver better services experiences, and ultimately unleash business greatness.
Thank you, Felicity, for that great and warm welcome. It's really great to be joining you today. My name is Femi Adebanji. I'm a business speaker in Johannesburg, and I'm a customer service and organizational excellence speaker. And I'm really excited to be here with you today and just to share some insights with you in terms of what is happening in the world. How can we build truly resilient businesses? Ladies and gentlemen, the future is truly now. So what I want to share with you in my talk today is really how can we use technology and digital tools to better connect with our customers and our clients? How can we build truly resilient and agile businesses? And how can we stay future fit and remain competitive? 2020 was a wake-up call for everybody. If there is one thing the pandemic taught businesses globally, it is this. The question isn't if the next pandemic or the crisis will hit. The question is, when is it going to hit? In a world where change occurs fast, oftentimes without warning, there are three things we have to be able to do now and do very well. Number one, we must be able to build, very resilient businesses that can withstand unpredictable changes and threats and be more effective. Number two, we need to be able to use technology to improve what we do and how we do what we do. And number three, now more than ever, everything that we do has to revolve around the customer, has to revolve around the client, and has to revolve around customer experience. What does all of this have to do with customer service and customer experience? Well, it's very simple. It simply means this, that in a world of challenging change and competition, we simply cannot afford to keep doing the same old thing, the same old way with our customers, our clients, and even our competitors. Technology now plays a critical role if we are to thrive in a world of disruption and a world of change. Before COVID, there was a lot of talk about digital transformation, digital revolution. What we've seen since COVID actually has been this massive acceleration and uptick of technology virtually across every single industry on the planet, yours and mine included. For example, virtual platforms can now redefine, in fact, they've redefined how we meet, how we collaborate, how we share ideas. Technology has introduced massive productivity benefits and cost-saving benefits. So let's talk about how we can use technology and tools like these to actually transform our businesses, to give us a more competitive edge, and also to help us connect better with our customers and our clients. Take, for example, how we used to meet our clients and prospects before COVID. Prior to COVID, we would schedule a number of client meetings for the day. We would then drive to the coffee shop, spend money on petrol. We would wait for the client, would buy coffee that we don't need while we wait, all of which are costly in terms of our time and money. Furthermore, because there's so many hours in the day, and because we have to drive from meeting to meeting, this meant that we were limited in terms of the number of clients and prospects we could see each day. But since COVID, technology has changed all of that. Now we have online platforms like Zoom and Microsoft Teams, for example. I mean, Zoom, for instance, is unbelievably easy to use. You download the app from the App Store onto your phone, onto the laptop, then you register. After you register, you immediately create a meeting link. You send that link to your customer, your client, or your prospect via WhatsApp or email. Your client or prospect clicks on that link, and instantly, you and your client could start talking online face-to-face as you would in a physical meeting. No driving, no more spending money on petrol, no more coffee shops, no buying coffee that you don't need. It's that simple, that easy. And if you think about it, what has changed? Nothing. except that now you have become far more efficient in terms of how you use your time and your money to grow your business. Secondly, with the old way of doing things, you would be limited to seeing only a certain number of clients per day. But now, because of technology and because you're meeting them online, you could potentially schedule as many meetings as you could humanly handle without leaving the comfort of your home or the comfort of your office space. Here's the other interesting thing. Even though you are meeting your clients virtually online, you can still tell if you are closing that sale or not. Why? Because even though you are online, you are still interacting with them face to face, meaning that you can still see their body language cues and also their facial expression. And this allows you to gauge how they are responding to your sales pitch. There are phenomenal ways and tools we can use to really make our businesses more agile and more adaptable and more competitive in this dynamic new world. Another way that technology offers huge benefits for our businesses and help us to better connect with our customers and our clients is when it comes to our advertising and marketing. There's a great quote on advertising that goes like this: stopping advertising to save money is like stopping your watch to save time. Let me repeat that. Stopping advertising to save money is like stopping your watch to save time. And as we all know so well, no advertising means no business. With the old ways of doing things before COVID, we would have to rely on printed flyers and email campaigns in order to raise awareness around our businesses and to advertise our businesses. The limitation with these old ways is that with the printed flyers, for example, we can only reach so many people in a given time. Plus, oftentimes, we are restricted to a given location. With printed flyers, we have no idea who is a strong lead and who is not a strong lead. Not to mention that many of the flyers often end up in the bin anyways. Furthermore, many of those marketing emails that we send often end up in spam boxes and don't get read. But now, thanks to technology, we have social media platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, etc., platforms which, if we use them effectively, can open up massive opportunities for our businesses. Here's a hint. Instagram and Facebook are not just for posting selfies. They are powerful business tools if we use them correctly. Think of it this way. With flyers and emails, we were limited in the past in terms of reach and effectiveness. But now through social media platforms, our market reach is so much greater. We're no longer limited to growing our businesses only locally. Now we can market our business anywhere in the world and virtually at any time. And by the way, just about everyone has a social media account, meaning that everyone who follows you on social media is a potential lead. The real question we have to ask ourselves is this: how are we leveraging our connections of social media to better build a strong business? The great thing about social media platforms, ladies and gentlemen, is that when we market our business or our products, we don't have to go to the prospects. The prospects come to us. How do I know this? Well, it's through the likes and the comments that we receive on those posts. When somebody likes your post on Instagram or Facebook, that's a potential lead, in my opinion. So the question is this: what are we doing with those likes that we receive on social media? What are we doing with those comments that we receive? It's very important that we use them and we leverage them, we connect with them. I mean, are we reaching out to those prospects to see if we can convert them into customers? Are we connecting with those people liking our comments and telling them more about our products and our offerings? And the amazing thing is that we can interact with them real time. It's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we stop doing the same old things the same old ways. We have to adapt and thrive so that we can be distinct, so that we don't become extinct. For example, a great thing about Facebook, for instance, is that it has numerous advertising and business groups also available on Facebook. You can join these groups for free, virtually for free, and can almost immediately start marketing your products. Also with Facebook advertising, from as little as $5 a week, you can market your business anywhere in the world for a week, meaning that you can now expose your business to potentially thousands of people, even tens of thousands of people, not just locally, but globally. Then prospects can then message you directly to find out more about your business or your product. And I know about this because I use it and it's worked effectively for me. I believe that our survival in the changing world is driven by three things. The extent to which we can bring our customers and our clients to the very center of what we do and how we do what we do, number one. Number two, the extent to which we can give excellence in every single thing that we do. And thirdly, the extent to which we're willing to adapt quickly, rapidly, and intelligently in a changing world. Adaptation is no longer an option. Our very survival now depends on those things, the things that we do, the choices that we make, the actions that we choose to take, because those are the things that will define and determine if we are distinct or if we'll become extinct. I want to share a story with you that illustrates this point. A few years ago, I was in Cape Town, giving a talk for the airport company, South Africa. I gave my talk, and after my talk, I went back to the hotel room. While I'm in the hotel room, my cell phone rings, ring, ring, and I answer the phone. The guy on the other hand says to me, Mr. Debanji. I says, yes. He says, my name is Mohammed. I'm your cab driver for tomorrow, and I know you're leaving for Johannesburg at 10 o'clock. What time shall I pick you up? So now I'm impressed. I'm thinking to myself, wow, this guy calls me the day before to find out what time is actually convenient for me. So I said to myself, look, Mohammed, if you pick me up around 8 o'clock, that gives me an hour or so to kill. No, does that work for you? He said, yes. The next morning, 8 o'clock sharp, he was at the hotel. He helps me with my luggage, he puts my stuff in the boot of his car, he gets to the front casually, the driver's seat in the front casually, and I go to the left side to open the door. As I open the door of his cab, I see things I've never seen before in a cab. What do I see in Mohammed's cab? I see 2 bottles of water still and sparkling, number one. I see some breath mints, I see some hand lotions, I see an expensive looking pen. It's not a Mont Blanc, but it's not Hong Kong either. So I'm thinking to myself, what is this all about? I mean, I'm on the road a lot. I've never seen all this kind of things before in a cab. So I kept my distance away from all those things because I just kind of felt, uneasy about it, So anyway, Mohammed gets to the front, we're about to leave, and he says to me, he looked at me, and I think he saw the apprehensive look on my face. And he said, Mr. Debanji, relax. You're in Cape Town. The water's yours, the mints is yours, the newspaper is yours. He didn't mention the pen, so you kind of take a hint, don't touch the pen, enjoy. But I still wasn't convinced. I was waiting for that 4-letter magic word. Mohammed looked at me again and said to me, Mr. Debanji, relax, it's free. I go, yes. Now, I didn't go yes, physically in this cab, otherwise it'd throw me out. I went yes in my head because I couldn't believe my luck. I mean, because what would have been a mundane trip to the airport would have been, that was becoming spectacular. What would have been an ordinary trip to the airport was becoming extraordinary. But here's the thing, it gets better. And here's the point of my story. It's about adapting and changing how we do what we do so that we can remain relevant, competitive, and offer value in a dynamic world. So before we leave, he turns around again and looks at me and says, Mr. Debanji, would you like the radio on or off, or is there a specific kind of music that you like? Now I am really suspicious because I'm thinking, nobody is that good. This guy can't be that good. It's impossible. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm on Africa's funniest home videos, where they have cameras in the cab and everybody's looking at me. I'm being streamed live all over Africa. They're looking at me and thinking to themselves, look at this guy. He thinks he's in a limo and they're having a big laugh. So I thought to myself, I'm going to try this guy out. So I said, you know what, Mohammed? I'm a big fan of lounge music, specifically Buddha Bar 4. He looked at me. After a few seconds on his iPad, he said, Debanji, I'm sorry I haven't got Buddha Bar 4 on the lounge music, but I do have Cafe Del Mar on the lounge music. How does that suit you? Ladies and gentlemen, my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it. I said to him, Mohammed, right now, I don't care if you play me marimba music or Scottish bagpipes, because what you have done is taken something as mundane as a trip to the airport and made that spectacular, and something as ordinary as a trip to the airport and made that extraordinary. Now, we get to the airport and I gave him a big tip. And here's the crux of my story. So I asked him, I said, Mohammed, by the way, why have you gone through all this trouble? And I'm curious. I mean, don't lower your standards. I'm just curious. Why have you gone through all this effort and all this trouble? He looked me dead in the eye and he said to me, it's very simple, Mr. Debanji. The tourism industry in Cape Town has changed. And things are competitive and things are difficult. If I don't adapt my business to those changes, I will be without a job. If I don't give excellence in every single thing that I do, I'll be out on the streets. If I don't bring my customer to the very center of what I do and how I do what I do, I'll be unemployed. In a world of change, challenge, and competition. Now, another great example of how technology can impact our businesses is in terms of our conferences and our product meetings. Before COVID, we would have to organize a venue, invite people, and presentations would have to be conducted. And during these events, we would even chat with other attendees of that event. The challenge with the old way is that a physical venue limited us in terms of the number of people we could invite. But now, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to technology, we can do so much more, so much more. Instead of physical meetings, now we can have online webinars on virtual platforms, just like we're having now at this DSA virtual event. You don't have to be limited anymore. You can use digital tools to augment your businesses, make it far more resilient, and take your business to the next level. Furthermore, for example, with these online webinars and platforms, they have functionalities, right, that allow us to be able to chat with other delegates, even online, just as we would be chatting with them if it were a live event. The future is now. And the tools I'm sharing with you, I've just shared now, are the future. They are here. They're going nowhere, and they're here to stay. They are tools that will allow us to run our businesses a lot more effectively, better connect with our customers and our clients, and stay competitive. I strongly urge you to try them, to use them, to grow your business, to make them, to allow them to actually make your businesses more efficient, more streamlined, and also a lot more agile. In this world now, we have to give value. Having to give value for our customers is a powerful competitive edge. The saying that goes, if your presence doesn't make a difference, your actions will make a difference anyway. If you're not adding value with your presence, your actions will not make a difference. Value is a very powerful and valuable currency. Let me share a story with you about the power of value and bringing customers to the very center of what we do. Some time back, I was catching a flight to Durban. And as I'm going to the airport, the gents in OR Tambo Airport, I'm running in, and the janitor, the guy who works in the bathroom, he's there with a towel in his hands. And as I'm running in, he says to me, "Good day, sir. Welcome to my office. Have a nice day." I'm like, how? Really? No, this can't be happening. This can't be for real. So I ran in the bathroom and did my thing. As I came out, he said to me, "Did you enjoy your stay in my office, sir? Is there anything else I can do for you?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine. Thank you very much." And I left and I caught my flight. Now, because I'm on the road a lot, I began to watch this guy very carefully. And I realized that he was getting tipped. And I did a very simple math. If this guy was getting tipped 10 Rand a day from 10 different people, that's about 100 Rand a day. From doing what? From bringing his customers to the very center of what he does and how he does what he does. From making them feel valued, from offering them value, from giving them a different experience than they would otherwise have had elsewhere. And that's all he has done. He's done things differently. He's not doing the same old thing the same old way. He's adapted his business, in a sense, to adjust what he does so that he can be relevant to the expectations and to the needs of his customers and his clients. The great story. There was a time when BlackBerry, for example, was one of the most popular phones on the planet. Every second professional had a BlackBerry. Research in Motion, which was BlackBerry's parent company, was one of the most celebrated smartphone companies in the world. What happened to BlackBerry? The iPhone devices happened to BlackBerry. BlackBerry could not deliver the same kind of value and experiences as the iPhone devices, and just like that, it went from being a celebrated brand to becoming a complete relic. Another example that's been done to death is Kodak. In 1976, they owned 90% of the photographic film sales market in America. Kodak was the market. They were effectively the market, right? What happened to Kodak? They ignored the likes of Sony. They ignored the rise of digital photography. They said to themselves, listen, we don't have to adapt. We don't have to change. We're Kodak. Things are fine the way they are. Digital photography, it's a fact. It'll pass. We are Kodak. We're on the market. It's about photographic film. That's the future. We don't care what's happening around us. We don't have to adapt. We don't have to change. We're going to stay exactly as we are. But fast track 40 years later, guess what happened? They filed for bankruptcy. It's not about what we do now that matters. It's what we do tomorrow and the day after, day in, day out. It's the choices that we make and the actions that we take that will define if we're still around, and define if we build resilient businesses for 5, 10, 15, 20 years' time. A brilliant example of a brand that did that very well is a brand called Astalift. It's a cosmetic brand called Astalift. Now, the funny thing is this. Astalift is actually owned by Fujifilm. Now, what is even funnier is that Fujifilm and Kodak are in exactly the same industry. What is even funnier than that is that back then, Fujifilm was a much smaller player than Kodak was. But here's the thing, Fujifilm read the writing on the wall and they realized, wait a second, photographic film is actually declining and shifting out. Digital photography is now the future. The future is now, the future is here. So you know what they did? They began to experiment and innovate. And during the experimentation process, they discovered that the chemical used in preserving film under certain conditions had the same preserving effect on the human skin. So based on that, Fujifilm launched their own skincare range called Asterlift, and they've been very successful. The lesson is this: Fujifilm is around today. Kodak is a shadow of its former self. People that thrive in a changing world are people that are willing to adapt quickly, rapidly, and intelligently. Those that give excellence in every single thing that they do, those that build their business around their customers, and those that use technology. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, we live in a world of challenge and change and competition. We live in a world where what worked yesterday might not work today, might be completely irrelevant tomorrow. We now live in a world where every organization must ask itself, every business, irrespective of size, you must ask yourself a couple of key questions, which are firstly, what must I do in this dynamic new world to ensure that I survive and thrive? And secondly, who do I need to become to ensure that I'm distinct in the hearts and minds of my customers and my prospects so that I don't become extinct? Thank you so much for your time. I've had a wonderful, amazing time. Enjoy the conference and see you next time. Cheers. Bye.
My goodness, thank you very much, Femi Adebanje. And honestly, good customer service takes today into tomorrow. Membership to the DSA is one of the pillars of the DSA. And to talk more about that, of course, it's a great honor to welcome Membership Director Yusuf Bayat.
A warm welcome to the DSA's Virtual Convention for 2021. Membership benefits from the DSA may be viewed in two categories, namely benefits to the DSA member companies who are reputable direct selling companies, and the DSA member companies direct sellers who are also referred to as independent distributors, consultants, business owners, or network owners, amongst others. The DSA strives for an environment which is conducive to the businesses of its member companies, which in turn is conducive to the businesses of direct sellers. With DSA member companies and their direct sellers endeavoring to comply with the DSA's strict code of ethics, together we make an industry that is widely regarded as credible. Potential customers and potential direct sellers are now asking in advance if a direct selling company is a member of the DSA with complete confidence that the DSA member companies are both legitimate and credible. Once a company has gone through our stringent vetting process and is compliant with our code of ethics and has been granted full membership status, we take great pleasure in advertising to the world that that company is a member of the DSA. We do this by ensuring that the company's name, contact details, products or services, and the company's logo all appear in the member section of our website. We also add a link to the company's website, which encourages recruitment of new direct sellers to the company and new customers of the company's product or services. DSA companies with full membership status may display the DSA's logo on their websites, printed marketing materials, advertisements, business cards, and a range of other items which all add to the credibility and legitimacy of the member company. The DSA has embarked on a robust PR program promoting the DSA and its member companies, ensuring that the public, government, and business communities are all aware of the credibility of our member companies as well as establishing a clear differentiation between all the member companies of the DSA, who are credible and legitimate businesses, and pyramid schemes and other less legitimate companies and schemes. DSA member companies are kept updated with legislation changes, and where required, workshops are held by the DSA to support their updates. On a totally confidential basis, industry statistics are collected locally through an annual questionnaire, which assists tremendously in positioning the direct selling industry to various stakeholders, in lobbying and discussions with government, in interactions with media, in brainstorming with academia, as well as serving as direction to the DSA for its strategy and decision-making process. The information collected by the DSA locally also contributes towards global industry statistics, which provides the DSA member companies locally with a good idea of the global direct selling landscape. The DSA's office is, of course, always available to guide our member companies in the various aspects of their businesses. The DSA has been running a work-integrated learning academic program together with the University of Johannesburg since 2002. DSA full member companies are invited to apply to participate in this program, which has received global recognition and awards. To ensure full understanding of its code of ethics, the DSA holds code of ethics training workshops periodically with representatives of its member companies whenever amendments are made to the DSA's code of ethics. The DSA and its member companies share extensively at DSA general meetings. These meetings also further serve to provide a networking forum for our members to interact with each other. These are just some of the benefits of a DSA membership. For an extensive list of DSA membership benefits, I invite you to visit our website at dsasa.co.za. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yusuf. I wasn't aware of the incredible benefits of the DSA membership. It's comforting and encouraging to see that DSA member companies and their direct sellers enjoy incredible support and direction from the DSA of South Africa. Now, through the DSA UJ, University of Johannesburg Work Integrated Learning Project, the DSA of South Africa has the vision to make a substantial contribution to the skills development and employability of the UJ students, while also contributing to the extended reach of the direct selling industry and strengthening direct selling's image. The program deliverable is to effectively contribute to the practical sales, entrepreneurial, business, and life skills development of students studying these qualifications at UJ, enabling students to enjoy a positive direct selling experience whilst achieving their sales targets, to potentially assist students to develop a small business that can continue to grow and produce income on completion of their studies, and to endeavour to assist in supporting students' employability in the formal sector on completion of their studies through their requirement of practical experience. Participating DSA member companies have the vision to effectively contribute to the entrepreneurial, business, and selling skills development of the UJ students, and to provide entrepreneurial business opportunities for students during and on completion of their studies. The project provides an opportunity for companies to build brand awareness in the youth market, to develop future business builders, and to generate product retail sales. However, the overall objective is to view this as a social responsibility initiative. Most encouraging are the results of this project. Now, in its 19th year, there have been 15,000 students through the program since inception, around 13 million rand earned by participating students, from around 52 million rand of sales by students, and around 700,000 rand paid in bursaries by DSA member companies to top UJ students, as well as top students winning product prizes sponsored by the participating DSA companies for their sales performances. With these phenomenal results, I believe that it's only fitting to hear from the top students in last year's DSA UJ project.
My name is Casey Angel Nolutano Khadebe. I am a student at the University of Johannesburg, where I completed my DSA project, Selling for Avon, as a sales representative and a sales leader. My duties were to showcase and sell Avon products and to also recruit and appoint sales representatives in my position as a sales leader. My experience with selling for Avon during a global pandemic was challenging, which tested my ability to work under pressure, but I love challenges, and my fear of not achieving my goals motivated me to push even harder, which resulted in me meeting and exceeding my sales target. I benefited immensely from this opportunity as an aspiring entrepreneur who one day hopes to run a successful business or businesses with the knowledge that I gained from my marketing qualification and the skills that I attained from selling for Avon.
My experience with the DSA was just overall very lovely. They taught me a lot about confidence and self-assertiveness, and they helped me get out of my comfort zone in order to meet my sales quota and even pass it. They really helped me get my sales up. They were very helpful and assisted me with any questions that I had. It was just an amazing experience, and I appreciate that experience, and I'm very grateful.
I represented Avon during the DSA project. My experience with selling Avon was fun, exciting, stressful, educational, and very experimental. I was selling Avon during COVID-19, and we all know that we were under a national lockdown, meaning we were not allowed to go out. There was a lot of restrictions, so social media became the platform that I used mostly to advertise the products. I would post the Avon catalog on my status on WhatsApp and on Instagram. I would also personally deliver the products to the location of the clients.
Good day, I'm Asumani. I worked with Table Charm for the 2020 DSA project. I've learned a lot from the project, and it helped me to be more responsible, trustworthy, and meet new people because I had to convince the customer to buy the products. The DSA project has many benefits, like pushing you to challenge yourself and see what you are capable of. I faced many challenges, like finding customers since we were in lockdown and no one was interested in buying non-essential goods. But by God's grace, I managed to reach the target and even did more. Thank you.
My name is Mtusi Ngobeni. Last year I was part of the DSA project. I was selling table charm. I have gained some skills and experience from it. Some of the skills that I've gained from it is that as a seller, you need to communicate and interact with your customers.
I chose to sell a table charm product because I'm from rural areas, and I saw the product as a perfect choice to sell in my community. I'm a very shy person, and selling has taught me to get out of my comfort zone, approach people and communicate with them in order to sell my product to them. Furthermore, my communication skills has improved drastically. I thank you.
Well done to each and every one of you. You're honestly inspirational. And this project is really preparing the students today for tomorrow. Now, something I think all of us realize is that digitization is the key in the tomorrow is now concept. And to talk more about that, I'd like to introduce DSA Director Mafakhle Marletse, who will be talking about digitization.
Thank you, Mistress of Ceremonies. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our second annual virtual convention. This is a sign of the times. I hope you're all well. I hope you are looking after yourselves. And above all, I hope you have vaccinated. We are living in a crisis. For the first time ever, all of humanity, all over the world, is facing the same thing at the same time. If you think about it, the First World War only impacted Europe. Even if you think of the Spanish influenza, it literally only happened in Europe. The Second World War affected Europe and Asia. Even things like Ebola only affected people in West Africa. AIDS was only a phenomenon in Africa and in Asia. But for the first time, this pandemic, we are all facing it together as one people at the same time. This has never happened in history. It is a phenomenon that experts agree that it will happen again. As you can see, this phenomenon keeps on coming back. We've just had our third wave, and there's talk again of a fourth wave, heaven forbid. But experts agree these pandemics are going to happen more and more often. It's just not going to go away. And it's impacting business negatively. Many businesses have gone under. Who would have thought a big company like Stekinoko would today be applying for business rescue? Businesses have been decimated. Airline businesses have been decimated. Pilots, some of the most wanted professionals in the world, are without jobs. This has been a major disruption to your business. And what it means, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have to learn and we have to start doing business in different ways. Vladimir Lenin, who led the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, says nothing can happen for decades, and then decades can happen in weeks. And this really happened when we look at e-commerce penetration with the advent of the COVID in April last year. In just 2 weeks, the world changed in terms of e-commerce. Since 2009, e-commerce has been growing in terms of penetration at the rate of 1% per year until in 2020. In 8 weeks, it went from 11% penetration to 26%, almost 2% in 8 weeks. That is amazing, absolutely amazing. And this shows you where the world is going. This COVID has completely changed the world, and things are becoming now to be done remotely. It is our future. We have to learn to work remotely and do business remotely. We cannot now rely anymore on doing business the normal way. We cannot go out to recruit as we used to. We cannot go out to sell as we used to. We have to blend the way we do business, because as the waves keep on coming back again, we need to be learning to do business in a digital way. We have to digitize ourselves. Companies, we have to supply our agents and our sales leaders and our reps with apps that they can run their businesses on, apps where they can take orders, apps where they can do recruitment, apps where they can do their business and calculate their commissions. We have to give them online tools. We have to give them their own stores so that they can then reach people who want to do business online. A big part is being mobile. We have to have mobile connectivity. We must connect with our downlines. We must connect with our customers, and we must have mobile applications to be able to do our business remotely. That is the future. If you do not digitize, you will die. Your business will die. You have to adapt or you will die. It is the way things are going to happen in the future, because as Scott Galloway, who's a professor of marketing at the University of New York, says, pandemics, wars, depressions, these shocks are painful, but the times that follow are open to the most of us who are productive. So if you have changed your business, not only will you be able to survive the COVID, but you will thrive thereafter, because there will be growth sooner or later. And with that, that's the message I had to share with you this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of the convention. Hopefully we can see you together next year in person. And thank you, Mistress of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Mafakle. And digitization has really assisted us in making tomorrow now. Don't forget some of those wonderful hampers up for the draw, and you, of course, could be a winner with a wonderful selection of products from our wonderful sponsors. I know you're dying to see if you're a winner. Winner announcements will be made shortly. PR or public relations is one of the pillars of the DSA of South Africa, and to talk more about that is DSA PR and Marketing Director, Lisa de Kock.
Thank you, Felicity. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Earlier, you heard our chairman of the DSA talk about the 5 pillars of the DSA, of which PR and marketing is indeed one. Today, I would like to talk to you about the purpose of PR and marketing within the DSA. First, to share with you our purpose and the benefits thereof. Then, to look at some of the goals and what we have achieved over the past 12 months. And finally, as tomorrow is now, a look at the future. PR and marketing's main purpose is to lead to the upliftment of the other pillars of membership, government affairs, Africa expansion, and education. PR and marketing communicates outwards about the DSA, to you as member companies, to you as our direct sellers, to government, to press and media, to academia, and to the broader public in general. Our main goal is to continue to push forward and gain traction within the broader South African landscape. And our aim is to establish ourselves as the authority, the go-to organization with regards to direct selling. This is done through 2 golden threads that inform all that we do. Firstly, a continuous reinforcement of the legitimacy and professionalism of the DSA and the direct selling industry, as well as its member companies. And secondly, an ongoing emphasis on the entrepreneurial and business opportunity through earning potential and the ease of accessibility that the industry provides many people out there. This is done and communicated through utilizing 2 platforms. On the PR side, press releases and statements, digital and printed, so that the DSA can be seen in the main media. And secondly, on the marketing side, social media, platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to grow the broader awareness of the DSA. Over the past 12 months, we've made some changes and achieved some new goals. We decided to theme our content around major themes every month and then utilizing our golden thread through these. Themes would be informed by either current news events, such as the release of the latest unemployment statistics in South Africa, or perhaps informed through a social awareness campaign, such as Youth or Women's Month. These themes would then help us to send out coherent communication through our various platforms. And growth has been delivered. Our Facebook account has grown by over 60%, Twitter over 44%, and we have even introduced a new platform, Instagram. With regards to press releases, we managed to release 19 press releases published this past 12 months, delivering us an equal advertising value of over 800,000 Rand. All of that to create this awareness around the direct selling industry, our legitimacy, and the business opportunity. That, the last 12 months. But tomorrow is now. The future is here. And what does the future hold for PR and marketing in the DSA? From a PR press release side, we are looking at introducing at least 2 press releases every month into main media, either through print or digital. We are investigating the opportunity to meet and interview with journalists. On the social media side, we are looking at introducing another platform to our portfolio. And here, truly utilize the benefit of social media. You have heard today about how important digitization is within our new future. I want to urge you to please like and share the content on our Facebook page. We will endeavor to put more content on there that features articles from world leaders with regards to direct selling, that features you as member companies more, testimonials to truly uplift the industry. And we've got lots of other exciting ideas and plans. It is, however, all digital. It is social commerce, the perfect platform for you as direct sellers, utilizing Facebook to reach and connect with your customers. Please like our page and look out for Tomorrow is Now, because the future is here. I wish you all the best and thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for reminding us about the importance of social media and what a great tool it is to take today into tomorrow. It has been a wonderful day, and the moment you've been waiting for has finally arrived. It is time to announce the winners of the hampers.
The DSA of South Africa has embarked on an initiative to have DSAs established in countries across our continent of Africa.
And I also want to thank you for the strong support and assistance that you are giving DSA Nigeria through your secretariat.
The DSA of South Africa is preparing the groundwork for the direct selling business opportunity to become accessible throughout our beautiful continent of Africa, so that direct selling in Africa can take its rightful place in the world of direct selling. The DSA of South Africa is so proud of having been awarded the WFDSA's most prestigious Platinum Award for the third consecutive year.
Now is our time to broaden our view of our stakeholders to care not just for our customers, our distributors and employees, but to also care for our communities and our planet. This is our moment to lead, to rise, to shine, and this past year has highlighted the compelling need for what our industry offers. During a year in which unemployment increased in every major country in the world, our industry, the direct selling industry, added 5 million people.
The vision of the DSA is to be leading ambassadors of the entire direct selling industry and proactively champion the interests of our member companies who passionately create an enabling environment in which lives are positively changed in our country. We recognize the fact that we had just over 125 million direct sellers globally, and it is through their collective effort that we get to celebrate today a global industry that's almost $180 billion US. There are 5 key areas where we focus all our energy and effort to ensure that this becomes an industry to reckon with in our local landscape. The first one is all specific and dedicated to government affairs. The second pillar, equally important to the first one, is public relations. The third pillar is membership, followed by education initiatives, and the last one is Africa expansion. We have 24 member companies in our reporting year of 2020. It's really exciting to see that we have close on to 900,000 direct sellers in terms of our local business. We can be proud of the fact that this industry boasts a size of 7.7 billion rands. And I'm proud to stand here today and share with all of you that this industry has continued to maintain its size, despite the fact that many industries have really struggled through the pandemic. Once again, it just illustrates and reinforces the fact that this is an industry that has always, irrespective of the economic situation, has maintained its resilience. A huge congratulations to all of you, member companies and direct sellers alike. We can exploit and really take advantage of the market potential that exists in the next 12, 18, 36, 60 months that lie ahead. So congratulations once again. Let's now unpack a little bit of our demographics. And so what you're seeing up on the screen is the demographics of our direct sellers. We often hear about inequalities in the marketplace. This is one of the issues of our national government and many governments around the world. And yet the direct selling industry, in a very organic way, continues to demonstrate the impact on society and how we go about dealing with those inequalities by empowering people with an opportunity that allows them to achieve their dreams, their goals, their aspirations for themselves and their families. This is an exciting one that I've just called up on the screen. Our industry is getting younger, folks. At last year's convention, the number was 55% of our entire industry was below the age of 44. Have a look at what has happened in such a short space of time. Today, I stand here and report to you that 64% of our industry are now below 44. Folks, we have a very, very young industry.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you to our sponsors for the wonderful sponsorship of the products in our hampers. Congratulations to the winners. And thank you to you, everyone, for attending. The DSA, the attendees, the member companies, and of course, direct sellers as well. From me, Felicity Rican, have a great 2022.